The pressure to have the perfect partner, the perfect body, and the perfect life can really take a toll on our relationships. These unrealistic expectations can lead to feelings of inadequacy and resentment towards our partners. When we constantly strive for perfection, we set ourselves up for failure. In today's episode, we will talk about not focusing on unrealistic standards and instead celebrating the unique qualities that make us and our relationship special. We will touch on how communication and understanding are key to building a healthy and fulfilling relationship. Now let's break free from the confines of unrealistic standards and embrace the beauty of imperfections in our relationships on today's episode of Island Talk.
Yeah, you're definitely reading the intros from here on out.
Love is love. Love is love. Adios.
Dun, dun, bum, 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 bum.
One take, bitch.
Yeah, it's funny because like on that side of the camera, because I'm back.
Pat is back, you guys.
Yeah, but on that side of the camera, you don't even. It's like, oh, I could do that easily.
I know.
Obviously not, bro. Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
So, Love is Blind. Homegirl says she looked like Megan Fox.
Jaw dropped.
Yeah, but that's not even my question though. My question is, do you feel like she felt a need to say that based on her being she's always going to be in the limelight. We've all seen Love is Blind and we've seen where people go after her on the show. Do you think she felt the need to kind of hype that up in order to say, okay, if I say this, he's going to be more likely to pick me by him thinking that I'm at that particular standard?
So he's the one who asked the question about a celebrity doppelganger.
Oh, okay.
He asked the question. Initially, I thought it was her, but I was talking to my girlfriends last night and they said they had watched it yesterday and they're like, he definitely asked it. Mm-hmm. So maybe because of her dark hair and green eyes or blue eyes, either way, that she thought she looked like that. Or maybe like one or two people have said that. Maybe so. Maybe one or two, maybe so. Because of her dark hair and blue eyes. I don't understand how you shouldn't even be asking those questions in the pod in the first place because it shouldn't be about appearance.
Right.
But for future reference, for anyone else going on that show, do not ask those questions because clearly they can be a lie from how the person really looks.
Yeah, well, I think so I think the relationship, and we talk about setting these standards, right? Sometimes you have to allow yourself to have an open mind, being the person who wants to have the standard. And what I mean by this is because she chose to say that particular thing or that particular person, now you set unless you are that, or you can't be close to that, you can't be around that, you have to be that because that's what you said you are. So as he's getting to know you, he's picturing himself talking to this individual. Or if a dude
who, mind you, is one of the hottest girls on the planet, named by society.
Yeah, it's not even that. Dude's 27, right?
Yeah, he's younger.
So I'm telling you, as soon as she said that, I'll tell you exactly what went through.
You saw it happen.
Yeah,
you knew exactly.
Well, no, I knew exactly what scene went through his mind.
Okay, tell.
Transformers 2, in the garage, when it's panning up and she's over the car working on the hood. That's the scene that went through his head. So unless you were that, that's what I'm saying. Unless you,
sis.
Yeah, unless you come out in slow motion like that, you put yourself at a loss. Because number one, like, okay, now I think you're a liar. She could have said Rosie O'Donnell.
She should have said nobody. She said, Nope, I've never been told I've been look like anyone.
Yeah.
Just to save yourself.
Yeah.
Don't say you look like Megan Fox.
And you know what I won't do?
Holy shit.
I know. And you know what I won't do? I can't give her, not that my opinion means shit anyway, but I can't give her a pass on that. Because if you're comfortable enough to feel like you're about to marry me, you're comfortable enough for me to be honest with you about my looks. You know what I'm saying?
But the whole point of the show is not to be honest about your looks.
I know, but I'm Idris B. Jordan if she's Megan Fox is what I'm saying.
That's like me saying, I've gotten multiple celebrity lookalikes.
But I feel like you look better than those celebrities that they say.
But what if I was like, oh, I look like Jessica Simpson or Daisy Duke because I have blonde hair and blue eyes?
But I think that's closer than Megan Fox, and you look
I know, but she was saying it's because she has blonde hair and blue eyes.
She knew exactly what old boy meant. You know what that means.
I don't know. I think maybe she's been told that in the face. Like maybe like right here, her eyes to her hair, just like right in the center. Mm-hmm. maybe her eyes look like Megan Fox's eyes. And that's why people have said that in the past. I don't know how many people have said that, but
she's not a bad looking girl.
But
also, she's not Megan Fox though.
Okay, but not only is Megan Fox beautiful in the face, she's like snatched. And not that the girl on Love is Blind wasn't snatched, but
but you can say that she wasn't in the same shape Megan Fox was. She was
right, which I think a lot of people think Megan Fox is. If Megan Fox had that hair and face, but maybe a different body, I don't know if she would be at that standard. I'm just saying.
But they had completely different body types. The girl's like
that's what I'm saying. The
girl's like
though.
my height.
So he's not only thinking like he's thinking Megan Fox is like a package.
I think I'm like some petite brunette. You know what I'm saying? But and not saying that what you came out is bad, but just saying you're not that.
Well, she kind of set herself up for a failure there.
That's what I'm saying.
Even though I don't think she was thinking of that in that time.
Okay, so back to my original question.
Okay.
Do you felt she felt pressure to say that because of like societal pressure?
No.
Okay, so she thought she just...
I think she just has been told maybe a few times in her life that that's who she looks like.
That's fair.
And so she just was like saying, yeah, like this is who I've been told. But she did say it's because I have brown hair and blue eyes or green eyes. I can't remember which one. Yeah. So she was prefacing it like they only say that because of my dark hair and my green eyes. She did say that.
I look like Hulk Hogan because I have eyes and teeth. That's the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It is pretty funny, but we haven't watched the next 2 episodes.
Which we'll watch tonight.
But yeah, we have a date tonight for Love is Blind. But I was going to say that I like her. I just feel like she set herself up for failure. And with someone who's 27, sorry, not sorry, he's going to be more into physical appearance than maybe the show wants people to be.
Okay. So with that being said, in relationships, does physical appearance matter more now because of social media?
100%.
Why do you think that is?
Because on social media, you can see, okay, on social media, there's so many people that are Insta famous. Mm-hmm. Usually when someone's Insta famous, first they're like, most of the people that are Insta famous are attractive. Mm-hmm. Second, if you're on there and you have a good personality, you can be Insta famous if you're funny and have a good personality. Mm-hmm. Which will get you followers. But really, majority of people who are big on Instagram are attractive. Mm-hmm. So I think when people get on their phones and like, it seems like almost everyone looks like that.
Right.
But in reality, the people who have a large following from their looks is really a small fracture of reality.
You know what I can...
Does that make sense?
You know, 100%. It reminds me of when it comes to like content creation or any type of putting out something that's unique to you. If you, photography, for example, if I get on my Instagram and I don't really follow photographers, I try not to follow. I have a couple like homies that I follow, but like I don't go out searching for photographers to follow, because if I do that, it's going to seem like everybody is a photographer. And then also there's like influence. It's almost like you're losing your uniqueness to your skill because it seems like everybody is that.
Yeah.
But if you actually go outside,
it's not.
Everybody has a camera phone, but you're not going to find a lot of people shooting photography. But even if you do see somebody in an area to shoot photography, there might be landscape, there might be editorial, there might be real estate. Like there's so many different variations, but if you follow certain things, you think everybody does it. So I agree with you. It does seem like everybody looks that way.
Yeah. So I think when people go into the dating world, they're expecting women or men to look a certain way via their Explore page.
Are they expecting them to act a certain way via their Explore page?
I think so. I think that nowadays when you date, you have a list of things you want in a person on both sides. I feel like because, which we've talked about before on pods in the past, because of social media, everyone sees this lifestyle that they want to have. Mm-hmm. They want a man that can support that lifestyle. So that means that they have to make X amount of money. They have to look a certain way and they have to be a certain way. Mm-hmm. Really, realistically, those aren't all going to be in one human. Mm-hmm. Like he may be nerdy, but rich, but not as attractive, but might not work out. Like to have like every single thing checked off to your standard of what you want it to be, to me is unrealistic.
So I'm reading a book right now it's by Carol Dweck. And her whole thing is about a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm realizing by reading this book, the book's called Mindset, by the way, but it talks about fixed versus growth or whatever. And anytime you read any book, especially when they're a book about reality, essentially, and how we perceive reality and how our minds kind of work with reality,
Yeah.
you notice it in yourself, which hopefully you notice it in yourself, but you start to see it around people, right? So what I've kind of got into, even from the phrase of like what the IQ test was for, because I was told I was smart when I was so young. Oh, you're so intelligent, so smart. That was actually a detriment to my intelligence growth.
Okay.
Because if you think you're smart just by birth and your talent alone, you don't necessarily attempt to adapt or grow that level of intelligence, because if I'm already smart, what do I need to be smarter for?
Right. Like, what do yeah.
So when you have a fixed mindset, as far as standards go, you really miss out on opportunities to be able to grow as a human yourself.
Right.
Like, you may not be at the same standards of what you want for a relationship.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say that these girls or guys have these standards that they can't even really live up to themselves. Mm-hmm. I know girls for sure. I don't know about guys as much, but I'm around females more.
Man,
they have these like lists, and then they're not even really sorry, but like, you're not all that.
Yeah.
In a bag of rocks. Like,
bag of rocks. I haven't been in the dating world for a minute, so I don't necessarily know, but
well, everyone's DMs are getting blown up.
Possibly.
If you're semi-attractive, your DMs are getting slid into, period.
Yeah.
100%. So it makes you feel like you're a 10 out of 10 for everybody. Like it's almost like entitlement.
To my women or men?
Women, for sure.
Yeah, my shit ain't blowing up. Can I shoot? That's what I get. But
I know, but like if you were single, maybe you would get more girls in your DMs. I don't know.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
I don't know. I've never slid into somebody's DMs really.
I don't know.
But before you, my DMs were on fire. This is how I know this.
Yeah, I assumed as much.
Yeah, my DMs were on fire. And that was even when social media wasn't as big as it is now.
Yeah.
Like if we broke up, my DMs would be on fire.
Okay. Head ass.
It's just the truth.
Count your blessings, sweetheart. No, I 100% know it's true. So I count my blessings as well too.
So my mind is at a 10 out of 10. Yeah. My ego is at a 10 out of 10. With that being said, does social media, do you think, make a difference in unrealistic standards?
Oh.
Coming from a man.
I mean, okay. 100%. I feel like to see a female that's from Australia in anything other than a bikini would be odd.
Yeah, they're like naked all the time.
To see somebody,
I love that. I wish I was.
To see somebody from the UK in anything other than a dress at a brunch spot would be odd. America's kind of up and down.
Yeah.
But you almost forget these people's personalities aren't necessarily that. That's why in my own social media, and you get caught up when I really put myself out. So different. Yeah. Well, when I really put myself out there on social media, it was this podcast. It was me shooting what I thought was interesting, which is typically females or typically something that's creative that I deem creative. But I almost caught myself at one point because I started to connect with more photographers and more videographers and more creatives, and I caught myself trying to like match the not even the energy, but match
the vibe,
the talent. Yeah, when it's like, nah, bro, like. And it goes back into our whole relationship talk. There are uniquenesses that we can embrace and grow ourselves while also adapting to skills or whatever in our relationships that we can get better at. Nothing is set in stone as far as learning about your partner continually or learning about yourself continually. So with that being said, for current relationships, how does social media and society impact that in your mind?
I think that when people even if they hit it off or whatever, I feel like sometimes people try and change the other person and mold them into what they want them to be instead of embracing them for who they are. And I think in relationships, when that starts to happen, it really becomes like there's a lot of issues.
It talks about that in the book.
Yeah.
if you were to have a fixed mindset partner or a growth mindset partner, oftentimes the fixed mindset needs adulation. They need to know that they're the highest of the high. As for the growth mindset partner, is like, oh no, we can always get better
and grow and learn and put in effort in these things.
A fixed mindset would say it is what it is.
I know.
Yeah. So, yeah. But do you think two partners like that can coexist?
Only for so long.
Why is that?
Because if one's trying to grow and the other one is fixed, they're never going to see eye to eye on anything.
Have you ever been in a fixed mindset? Have you been in a relationship with a fixed mindset person?
I think I was.
You think
a little bit.
How so?
I think a growth mindset, you have to be open to learning. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like for a long part of my life, if it has the title of learning on it, I'm resistant towards it. If that title's never put on it, but I'm learning, I don't feel that way.
Why do you think that is?
I think because when I was younger, I didn't love school and I didn't really feel like I was good at school. So when I had to do stuff that I had to like learn, I like didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. Like from a young age, like math homework, reading homework, like in elementary school, like I didn't enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to do it. Hence, I didn't feel like I was like a learning type of person. Mm-hmm. So I feel like maybe I have been fixed in my mindset up until more recently, because I'm just now understanding that just because you may not be, quote, smart, like titled smart on something, doesn't mean you can't learn it and grow into it and evolve.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean if you're not good at it, like that's all it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, me going back to, I was told I was smart, which I would have been a lot more intelligent if I was told you put forth a lot of effort in your learning. Mm-hmm. I would have been more of and I've always been a continued learner, but there was a period of my life.
I haven't.
Well, I would say probably 10th grade to probably through college. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm already good. I got it. And even though I had okay grades, mm-hmm. I could have had better grades because I would have just put more effort into it. I didn't put in a lot of effort in stuff I didn't actually care about.
Yeah, same. That's why I didn't ever care about my grades.
Okay. So when it comes to traditional standards of how a relationship should go, okay, man, woman, I noticed there are a lot of those traditional things here. Do you think that causes a lot of relationships to butt heads?
For sure.
Why is that? Because
it's a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. If one's fixed and another one's growth, if anything comes up issue-wise or argument or something they're not seeing eye to eye on, the fixed person is not going to see it as a place to grow. They're going to deem it a failure and never go back there again. Mm-hmm. The growth mindset person in the relationship is wanting to go to counseling, wanting to go do, whatever they can do to connect and try and see how they could like resolve it or learn from the failure or learn from what's been happening. Like clearly we're in a pattern. If we can't grow and fix it, then it's never going to be anything different.
You took that a different way than I was meaning, but no, that's interesting. That's interesting. I was thinking more fixed as this is how my parents have done it. This is the way a relationship's supposed to be per se.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
And so it's like, if it's not that, then it could be deemed a failure or whatever.
100%. Or like traditions of how you were raised. Yeah. Also religion. Mm-hmm. And like, if this is what it's been, a successful marriage or successful family, and then it doesn't go that way, instead of a lot of times seeing it for, okay, growth, how can we see this as growth, or how can we like navigate this now moving forward to where we're all growing? They like deem it as a failure and like cut it off. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Why do you think our relationship, I feel like we're in a growth phase right now.
Yeah.
I want to say it's because of communication.
I would say probably communication.
But I feel like the things you're growing with right now, I tried to communicate to you our entire relationship.
I know.
So it can't necessarily be communication. Maybe it's comprehension Oh, you know what I will say? Sometimes we unwillingly try to force things upon our partners.
Which is what I was saying when I said a lot of people are trying to get their partners to change.
Yeah. And then
It's a force, usually.
And it's funny. It's not like I was trying to change you for the bad. I was trying to, it's like if you see somebody talk bad about themselves, not saying this was you, but if you see somebody consistently talk bad about themselves and you're like, hey, you don't have to self-deprecate. You don't have to think that way. You can think about the good things and continue to work towards those, or say, you know what, I used to look like this, now I look like this, so I'm actively getting better. Not, I don't look as good as person A, B, C, or whatever. You don't have to be mean. And when you see that, you almost want to like tell that person, shake them, hey, yo, you don't have to think that way.
Mm-hmm.
But realizing that you can't force somebody to change the way they think, that's a them thing. You can open them up to new ways of thought.
Yeah.
And with you, it was more so a random book finding. But once I stopped trying to like force it on you, you figured it out yourself.
No, I think it was more, how does your partner learn?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't learn from, I've never thought I've learned from books. Mm-hmm. I've learned from visual. Mm-hmm. When I went to school, it wasn't the book I was learning from. Mm-hmm. It was my people in my class that taught it back to me from reading. Mm-hmm. Or it was like watching somebody do it and then I do it.
Yeah.
Like dancing. I watched the choreographer and then I could instantly do it. I didn't read anything. And like, I've always like, maybe reading comprehension, I don't know, but I haven't learned with reading. So all these books you were trying to get me to do, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna, yeah. I'm so resistant to reading. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think if you would have given me a book like the one I listened to,
it wouldn't have worked.
No, I wouldn't have read the book.
Now you're like almost 5 books deep and it's been like
but
4 weeks.
But it's only audio.
Yeah.
And so I think because we watched a video that correlated with the book, I was able to make the connection and understand it, which opened up my eyes.
So,
but because I'm more visual, that's why it resonated with me.
Moral of the story is have continued curiosity about your partner.
Yeah.
I'm more curious about you now.
Yeah.
I'm always learning about you, but I'm more curious about you now mm-hmm. than I was for the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Which is because it's, number one, it's cool to see you embrace something new and see how it changes your perspective.
Right.
But number two, it's also dope to do it with you. And
to
be on to say, hey, what page do we actually want to be, or what page do we desire to be on? And then write that page down and say, okay, how does this feel for us?
Yeah.
How would we like it to feel? And then working from there, as opposed to just letting life kind of be life. So,
which is how I've always lived.
I think majority of us do.
Yeah.
Like again, you can go to the gym and just work out, or you can go to the gym and be intentional about what you want to grow, what you want to change, how do you want your body to actually look, and focus on that. Mm-hmm. If I go to the gym and I say I want a huge bicep and I just focus on my left bicep, even though I'm working out, my right bicep is gonna lag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm intentionally doing stuff for my left bicep, even though I'm working out per se.
Right. Yeah.
So
I like that.
Yeah.
What's the word?
Analogy?
Yeah, I like that analogy.
There is a level of intentionality that you can put into certain things, because it's concept's easy. Where you focus your attention is where your action goes, you know? So if you focus your attention on not trying to change your relationship, but trying to be curious and open to how you want your relationship to be without force.
With its open communication.
Yeah.
It really does probably come down to communication. Yeah. If I would have told you, which I never connected the dots, if I would have said, hey babe, I don't want to read a book, let's try a video. Is there a way you can tell me what you're trying to tell me with this book with a video? Mm-hmm. I do better with visuals. Maybe I would have known.
Or I'm like,
but
all
also
right.
I didn't like connect that dot either. Like I didn't understand.
Yeah. It's also, I think, it has to come from a good place.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, I don't want it to be misconstrued that it's like changing to change for me.
No.
It's like,
it's
hey,
just like becoming your best self.
yeah, it's like, hey, babe, I see some signs. I see some things or I hear some things that you're saying. I think this would be beneficial for you.
Yeah. Especially if your partner's having anxiety or having low self-esteem or having like, you obviously want your person to be their best self.
100%.
I mean, at least you'd want your partner to want you to be your best self.
I would hope
a healthy relationship is that.
I would hope in any relationship. I think that I was talking to my mom about this on Sunday.
Yeah.
I was like, I think the purpose of any relationship is to want to do what you can to make that the person you're with the best version of themselves, or to help that person be the best version of themselves, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Because it's an energy exchange, right? Like I'm asking you, if I ask you to be my wife, I'm asking you to share your energy with me as I'm sharing my energy with you, and in the hope that energy like exponentially expands and we're able to put that into our lives in good ways.
Yeah.
But if I'm just like, no, hey, I'm asked you to do what I tell you, when I tell you, and how I tell you, that's an employee for a bad company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was going to say though that I do know that a lot of people are in relationships that it's seemed as like a competition between each other. And I know that that's a thing. Or like the man or the woman is doing better than the other one and they want the other person to do good, just not better than them. Yeah. I like have been around like some of my friends or like people that I've come in contact with. They feel like their partner doesn't necessarily want them to be better than them. They're fine like helping them be like their best self, but like if it gets to where they're like making more or doing more than them, they don't like that.
Okay. Story about us. We played equal parts in Mackay for forever. But for a long part of the time, I thought I was kind of in the shadows of it because I chose to be in the shadows of it, right? Mm-hmm. And I love to see you succeed. And not that it was, I won't call it resentment. I was like, how do I put my face in it more? But it's like it's sunless tanning, you know, like how do I put my face in it more? But there was at no point did I ever not want it to see it grow big with your face on it.
Right.
And so when I see situations like that, where I don't want my partner to get adulation, it's like, bro, that's why you chose your partner.
Yeah.
Like,
which would be a fixed mindset, right?
100%.
Yeah.
There's another thing too. You can tell as a man, you can tell how good a woman is by how other women respond to her, especially when she is pretty. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
If women don't fuck with you, that's not your girl, bro. But if you're a pretty girl and girls gravitate to you, that's good human.
Yeah, that's good energy.
Yeah, because there's like, women have intuition. Women know. Like, and especially when a POC don't fuck with you. Nah.
What's a POC?
Person of color.
Oh.
Like we got intuition, bro. We pick up good energy. When you say, all right, I don't know about this particular human or whatever, like, yeah, just there's something to it. And I'm getting to a place to where I'm understanding my intuition more. And what I had to realize about my own life is sometimes taking a risk is an opportunity to say no to certain things. And that's a beautiful thing in itself because it opens you up to things that you actually want to do and are actually going to give you good energy.
Yeah.
I think more often, I know I'm getting off the relationship topic, I'm not meaning to, but I think it needs to be said. Not when you feel force on certain things, it could be telling you that this thing isn't for you.
Yeah. And
it could be, and this is hitting me, it could be the thing that you really want trying to pull you to it. That way, that's why you feel like you're forcing this direction. When the thing you actually want to do and that's actually trying to show you what it is pulling you back this way. It might not be a force. It might be a pull. You know, and you're trying to break through this wall when it's like, oh, bro, there's a whole beach island behind you, dude. Why you keep trying to go into this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I had to get to that point because I started to feel like I was like the asshole in a lot of situations. Mm-hmm. And it's like, nah, bro, it's just not everything's for you, my dude.
Yeah.
So.
And trusting your intuition with it too.
Yeah.
And like knowing that it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
That you don't have to say yes to everything. And I think as you get older and you have more of an idea kind of who you are and kind of like healthy relationships or, finding healthy boundaries. I feel like people struggle with that.
I was just talk about that.
Especially younger.
I was about to bring that up. Talk about boundaries and your understanding of them now in your 30s as opposed to in your teens, 20s, and so on.
Yeah. I got taken advantage of all the time.
How so?
Like in my workplace, I was always, because I'm a people pleaser. So I'm like, yes, 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 yes. It's like, it's been hard for me to say no. Like even like at any cost, like I'll just always do it. And so like growing up and like learning that I'm doing that, now I'm like, no. And it's healthier for me because when you get taken advantage of for so long, or you find yourself in those patterns of relationships that you have that really aren't serving you, but you're just used to saying yes, 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 or doing whatever you can for another human because you're a good human. You find yourself in these like shitty patterns of like not feeling the best feelings when it comes to like those patterns, and like only you can change it.
Have you ever been on the other side of somebody setting a boundary with you? That's not me. Because I set them bitches with you all the time. I will not be talked to like that, ma'am. But yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking of times when people have set boundaries with me because I think you have to have a level of focus back. Like you have to look at, okay, so how to win and how to, it's Napoleon Hill. I can't think of the book, but how to influence and whatever people are. It talks about when you have wins, look out the window. And when you have losses, you look in the mirror, to see what you could have changed or whatnot. So in keeping that in mind, I think that's something that I've always done to see who's around me to help. But with that being said, I know I'm not for everybody. My personality definitely isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like if you're for everybody.
But that's good though.
Yeah. If you're for everybody, you're not. If you're for everybody, you're not really for anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? That doesn't make them bad. Doesn't make you good. I feel
like I'm for everybody.
I'm not saying
I'm like friends with everyone.
Well, no. I have friends of all races, size, shapes. But what I'm realizing from a more detailed, how can I grow all around, or what do I feel that's pulling from me, or what I feel like I'm giving to?
Yeah.
I'm definitely not for everybody, and I appreciate that about myself, though.
Right. No, that is good, and I think that comes with time and age.
Yeah, it's taken a while to get that.
Well, and even some of my like closest friends I had, those aren't relationships anymore. But I now see why. When maybe a few years ago I wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, everybody grows too, though.
Yeah.
Like it. There could be seasons that the friendship made sense, or that the relationship made sense. True. In that season, and if you're not, I'm saying if you're not growing together, then you're probably growing apart. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And that happens all the time.
Right.
Yeah. It's beautiful to grow together, but it has to take two people with open minds, and also like not getting like constructive criticism in a good way, or like open communication to where you're not always on the defense, like no matter what it is. Yeah. Like even I feel like a lot of people have issues sexually with their partner because they don't have an open line of communication to where you're not saying you're not good, or that you're not this or you're not that. It's just, this is better fits me.
No, that thing ain't thinging. Told you to take 36 pumps to get them cookies.
Like Pat and I every few months have like a open communication sexual talk.
Yeah, we have a sex talk.
Like, hey, how you feeling about it? Like, what could we do different?
I saw these midgets. I want to try some shit.
No, but like we check in. Yeah. But we have to be intentional about that, or by wayside and default, you kind of just go amongst the patterns of like, and maybe if it's been so long that you've had the conversation about it, you're not as comfortable bringing the conversation up. But when it's like a normal thing that you do every few months, check in with one another, and that's like a thing you do in your relationship, it makes it so you're not as uncomfortable bringing up the conversation.
That 2 minutes of uncomfortable is worth months, if not years of pleasure. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, that's, especially when it comes to intimacy, that is something that can be really defensive. It's easy to be defensive.
Then once you piss the person off or offend them by what you say, it's kind of hard to come out of that.
But I think you have to realize that before we even have this conversation or these conversations, and I was the one who brought it up to you, like, hey, sexually, like, I know I'd be putting in work, but like,
is it the work you want?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Am I up here like hammering nails, or would I should
like,
be?
What do you want?
Should I be jellying fish? You know what I'm saying? Like, But what I'm getting at is we're on the same team.
Right.
So if you win, I win in that situation.
And vice versa, right?
No, exactly. So it's like, okay.
And then it makes it so you can explore more together, which I think is like you can grow sexually together as well.
Yeah, well, okay. So the best, athletically, another analogy, the best teams of all time, they still practice the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
They still go back and watch game film to see where we can get better.
Well, it's like Steph is still shooting his
He's
threes.
still practicing threes.
At practice.
Yeah, like he's shooting way more, and he's missing way more in practice than he ever attempts in a game.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So you have to continually work on the foundation, especially in a relationship, because relationships are the one place that I feel like it is easiest to just go into default mode.
Yeah, because you're comfortable with that person, or you're comfortable with your daily life, or you're comfortable doing whatever you're doing.
100%.
It takes more work to
be
intentional about it.
And I'm not saying like every day, every moment, every day,
Yeah.
but it is
Checking in.
Yeah, well, it is good to have like a quarterly check-in. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what do we?
For all aspects.
All aspects. You take so we have this thing that we implemented this year, and I'm when I say we've grown so much over, like, I feel like I want to say 2 months, but it really hasn't, because we really didn't start it till week 2
of January.
Yeah, but I mean it's 6 weeks ish, right?
Ish.
And the growth that we had in 6 weeks, just as a couple, has been, I think, more than we've had our entire relationship. By just taking a week and say, hey, every day of this week for the next 5 days, we're really going to look intentionally at one piece of our relationship and make a plan for that. Mm-hmm. Then the next day, we're going to look at another piece and make a plan for that. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to see what success looks like that for both of us. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to work on that once a week, you know? And over the period of this many weeks, it's like, oh shit, we're doing this shit. Like shit is growing in every area. And of course you have setbacks, but then you have a person who knows what your goals are, and they can also keep you accountable.
Love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And too, for somebody who's a little bit more uncomfortable with these type of things, you are a little bit more organized, more goal oriented, more quote smart than me.
No, I put in effort, bro.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I have just, and honestly, like reflecting upon my life in the last little bit, from like childhood to younger adult, I literally have always got what I wanted without literally any effort or minimal effort. But realizing that like I can't just like coast, and coming with you and like doing the planning and okay, let's be intentional, and like what do we want to do? Like to me that was like really uncomfortable. And I know I've talked about this on every show in the last few weeks because it's been really uncomfortable. But now, being at this point in time, it's not near as uncomfortable.
You know what?
I'm not near as restrictive.
Yeah. Because of that thought right there, one thing that you showed me is that it can be easy.
Yeah.
Like that little
we've
bit
got
of
the overanalyzer, and we've got the go with the flow, therefore.
Yeah, but no, once you set an intention, especially, there's a part of uncomfortability just because it's growth, just because you're trying to set up a new baseline. But once you have a new baseline set up, it really can be easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just, if hard work was a determinant of success, then construction workers would all be billionaires.
Yeah.
You know? It's not the case.
Same with a relationship.
Yeah.
Like I was at the gym a few weeks ago and I asked this person about their relationship. It's a newer relationship. And they said, oh, it's going really good, but it's in the fun stage still. And I thought, it can always be fun. It can always be easy, and it can always be joyful.
Yeah.
Because I have personally experienced it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a honeymoon stage that ends. I feel like in our relationship, like obviously we've had some ups and downs, but like it's truly been easy.
Yeah.
I've never felt like it hasn't been easy.
Yeah, you can. Okay.
It can be easy.
Well,
just anything in life can be easy.
Well, I'm saying, think about the times that you've been happy in your life. If you're listening or if you're watching, whatever, think about times you've been happy in your life. Has it been hard? In that moment of just happiness, has it been hard? Are you forcing anything? No. I don't. It's like mind-boggling, yet not, because you have these. long story short, we're really challenging every notion of life as we know it.
That's the thing.
And it's you if you really pay attention to it, you're like, no, like my relationship doesn't have to be difficult. And if it is difficult, let's investigate why it is.
Yeah.
Let's what questions should we ask to understand? Like, what are we missing? Like, is my wife a visual learner and I keep trying to get her to listen to these speaker boxes, or do I need to put up a picture for her? Am I actually curious in my wife? Am I competing with this person? Do I?
And then find why you are competing.
Yeah.
Because that's an inner thing.
100%.
You know, it's
100%.
like maybe we should fix there first and then fix our relationship, or try and find a resolution to these issues. Like, why don't we do a deep dive of why we are where we are?
100%.
Because ultimately it's our own inner self.
And you don't need to do these things. And we're not saying anything that we haven't practiced or are practicing ourselves.
No, yeah.
You don't need any outside source to do these things. You have to be able to be comfortable with yourself to really ask these questions. Because sometimes when you're competing, especially against those that are close to you, and I'm not saying competition is a bad thing.
Right.
What I'm saying
Healthy
is
competition.
Healthy competition. But what I'm saying is, are you competing with somebody who, number one, isn't even... Yeah,
Sorry, got a cramp.
You're good. Are you competing with somebody who, number one, isn't even playing a fucking game with you?
Yeah. You're
And
competing with someone who's not even thinking about you.
Yeah, man. Like, you think you competing and I ain't even turn the console on. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? I don't even own a PlayStation. You up here trying to win the game.
Yeah.
Or are you competing in a game that you don't even have a desire to win?
Right.
You know? And once you ask these questions, you find a level of ease for your life.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, good things attract to you. You start chasing, you stop forcing, you start attracting good into your life, because you're opening up these doors that you may have had closed for so long by thinking, oh, I got to compete. This is how I am. This is how I am. When if that's how you are, that's how you're going to be. Mm-hmm. Or if you think I can be another way and I can work on being another way,
Then you can be.
All of a sudden, bada bing, bada bam.
Yeah. 100%. It's all about mindset and open versus fixed, or growth versus fixed.
Well, no, you're right. Open versus fixed. We'll go on for another day, but I think that's good. Getting back to it.
Well, we didn't really talk about, well, I guess we did.
No, we did. No, we talked about all this, the inadequacy, the constant strive for perfection. It took us a little bit. But
let's do that part.
What about it? What's that?
Is it realistic to just constantly be striving for perfection of yourself? Do you think it's healthy?
No, not at all.
How do you find that we could give some advice for balancing?
I don't even think you need to balance. I think you need to understand that the success is in the effort that you put forth, and be continually willing to always put forth the effort that it takes to get better all the time.
With social media, though, do you think that plays a role?
Yeah, but if you're letting an outside force influence you, then that doesn't matter. And social media, if you delete your Instagram today, social media is still going to be social media, and the same things are going to be there. If you delete your TikTok, your Facebook, whatever, those things are still going to be around. What do you really want? Because if you're trying to perfect yourself for a false perfection, what are you really doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't put pictures of me taking a shit on Instagram, yet I take a shit almost every day.
Right.
It would be imperfect not to take a shit every day. I know it sounds weird, but yeah, like, you know what I'm saying though, right? Yeah. That is literally a perfect part of life.
Yeah.
To not do that is imperfect.
Another great analogy, babe.
But you know what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
So you gotta, going back to my original point, what game are you competing in, and do you really even care to win?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's so true.
So no, I don't think you should strive for perfection. I think you should strive to put in optimal effort for things that you want to, things that you desire to accomplish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you should be curious. And also, I think another thing too, be curious about what you're curious about. Like, I was trash at photography when I first started, But I was curious about photography, and I'm curious about other levels of photography. Now I think regardless, even my quote unquote failures in photography,
Yeah.
I still put those up against anybody because it's subjective. Somebody's going to love it. Somebody's going to hate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Such is life, though.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So what's perfect for you, somebody's going to think that shit's trash.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's true.
Are you dedicated to becoming better?
Yeah.
Knowing that becoming better is going to open you up new opportunities within yourself and within everything.
Yeah.
If it's perfect and it fails,
Then what?
then what?
Yeah. I like that.
So yeah. I think that's a good show.
That's a good show.
I'm back.
Pat is back. I missed you on here.
Yeah, I missed I was wondering like why I fell down. It was the glasses, man.
I'm so glad you brought him back, babe. You're looking snipper snap.
Snipper snap.
Looking flawless.
Okay, so